Guys, what's up? It's Crypto Camacho again. Hey, today I wanted to show you how a trade turned out. A trade that I made over the weekend, right? When the market crashed, when China announced that they were banning ICOs, the cryptocurrency market crashed, went down 20, 25, in some cases 50% or more. I made some trades, right? On the video I showed you yesterday, I showed you some of those trades and how I, bought and how I sold those on the dip, right? And when the bases were cracked. Today, I want to show you how one of those trades ended up and where I sold because it was super exciting for me, right? I go and I look at my computer when I wake up in the morning, it was like 6 a.m. Go to my computer, look at it, and I see that the stock just had shot up. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Super pumped about that, right? Who's not excited to go to their computer and see, something that they bought has gone up in value multiple times, right? And in this case, sorry, it wasn't multiple times, but it was a very good percentage. And anyway, let me dive right into it. Excuse me. Let me dive right into it here. So real quick though, let's look at the Bitcoin recovery. So Bitcoin today, it is trading currently at 4,660, right? And let's zoom in a little bit on this. Man, look at that dip. So we hit all the way up to 5,000. China announces their ban on ICOs. We get a drop all the way down to, gosh, 3,951. And then literally within a few days, we get a bounce back to 4,660, and there's no stopping in sight. So is this really where things go past 5,000? Is this where Bitcoin's going to go past 5,000? I don't know. We'll find out in the next few days. But if you could see real closely right here, I have marked my alert for 3,951. That's exactly where the base is for the current dip in Bitcoin. And what's going to happen? The next time there's a big dip, if the dip goes below 3,951 and cracks that base, I'm actually going to go and buy a bunch of more Bitcoin, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you this just slightly. And I know I want to show you the trade here in a minute. But same thing pretty much happened right here, right? There's a huge drop. The former base was cracked. Boom, went down, bounced right back up all the way to the top, and then went down again. And it cracked another base and went back up. It's going to happen again in the future, right? It's going to happen again where Bitcoin tanks again. This time it may tank even deeper. What if it tanks, past 3,400 where it is here? Who knows? But anyway, hope you get that form of trading that I've been trying to teach you in the last couple weeks here. So let's go into my trade that I made. So this is the trade that I made this morning. So yesterday I showed you a video where, I showed you how I bought and sold VSL. I bought it, down all the way at like 18.95 around that. And I sold it. I first sold it around 26.72. And then I sold it again all the way up at 22.98. So basically 23. So I made a big percentage gain there. And let's just look. Okay, so I made, okay, let me go up. Still trying to get used to this feature. I made almost 21%. If you could see this, it actually measures the percentage of the gain. So I made about 21%, right, in about 2-3 days, okay? And this was all because I traded off of the base. And, if you don't know how to do, let me show you how to do this little trick real quick. So on Coinigy, there's a way, if you use Coinigy, there's a way you could just measure. I used to kind of calculate it in my head, and somebody actually on YouTube, thank you very much, you showed me how to do this in Coinigy, how to find out what the percentage gain or dip was just by clicking. You press shift on your keyboard, you click the mouse, and then you just click it once, and then you drag it all the way up to where, wherever you want, and then you got your percentage, right? So just literally click shift, hold down shift, click your mouse button, and then you can drag it wherever you want. So that's a little tip for you on Coinigy and how to do that. But it's crazy. I made 21%. So I wanted to just show you that. I was excited about that. And I traded on the base again. I sold about half of my shares, what I bought at about 20. Sorry, let me get rid of that. At about 20. So that I made about 10%, right? I wanted to make sure I covered some of my costs there, made a little bit of money back and recouped some of it. And then I sold, not all of it, but the remaining, portion, large chunk that I had for 23. And now I have some free VSL coins. I made some profits. Everybody's happy. So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to show you today. The other thing I wanted to show you today is a spreadsheet that I put together, which is really just kind of helping me calculate percentages. It's helping me calculate, when I invest a certain amount of money and I get a certain percentage gain, what profit do I actually come home with? And if I did that on a daily basis, what can I expect at the end of the month if I compound my earnings or gains? So let's just take a quick example. So go over to this spreadsheet. And if you guys want this, you could definitely download it. Go to cryptocamacho.com. You can download this spreadsheet right there and get that. But anyway, so okay, let me walk through this real quick. So I set this up really just kind of on a whim as a way for me to track, how much I'm spending on a particular coin and how much profit I'm making on a particular coin on a daily basis. And the way it works is up here, I just put Bitcoin, right? I'll base it off of Bitcoin. And what was the price? The price I think today was 4,660. I think that was the price we saw, right? So Bitcoin today is at $4,660. If I were to sell this at, let's just say 5,000, no, 50,000, 5,000 here. If I were to sell it at $5,000, I would make an estimated return of 6.8%, and I would make an estimated profit of $340. So let's say today I bought Bitcoin for $4,660. Tomorrow it went up to 5,000 and I sold, I'd make $340, right? So that's kind of the formula and the math that I'm using to get my numbers here. So then if I were to invest $1,000, right, into this formula, into that particular return, what would my profits be on a monthly basis? So the amount I invest per trade, let's just say $1,000, just to kind of average that out there. On day one, if I invested $1,000 into this trade, I would make, if I invested $1,000 at a 6.8% return, I would make $68, right? And so don't get confused, because right here I'm saying if I were to buy a whole Bitcoin at $4,660 and sold a whole Bitcoin at $5,000, I would make $304 profit. In this case, I'm only investing $1,000, right? So I'm investing less than an actual price of Bitcoin, so it's a fraction of it. So my profits are going to be fractional as well, right? I think that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so if I invested $1,000 into Bitcoin at this return, this estimated return, I'd make $68 that day. If the next day I invested in Bitcoin or another coin, an altcoin, at the same return, but at this time I invested $1,068, investing my profits as well, I'd make $72. And this just goes on and on and on throughout the whole month, right? And so if for 30 days, the whole month, every day, I made a 6.8% return and made one trade, just one trade at 6.8% return, at the end of the month, I'd make $6,196, right? Now, that sounds like a lot, but, and it sounds like you'd have to trade and be right a lot of the time. You'd have to profit a lot, which is true, you would. But if you use this method and if you could find one trade at 6.8% return on average, right? Some trades you may make 15%, some trades you may make 5%. But on average, if you make 6.8% return investing $1,000, you could turn that into $6,000 at the end of the month. So the last piece of this is really just the chart of how this grows over time and how your money grows over time. So starting with $1,000, you can see by day 30 you've made $6,000. You've made a lot more money than you put in. So you made essentially 6 times your money that you put in. And this can work the same way with smaller amounts of money, right? If I invested $300, let's say I want a small account. I want to start day trading. I want to start trading cryptocurrencies and do this base trading and start making these percentages and these gains. And I want to start with $300, right? So $300 obviously will go a little bit slower, but it's essentially the same concept, right? If I bought $300 worth of Bitcoin one day and the next day it went up 6.8%, I would make $20 on that $300 investment. The next day, if I did the same thing, I'd make $21, so forth and so on. And by the end of the month, I would have almost $2,000 in my account. And then you can start making bigger trades and making bigger profits, right? So this is kind of how the game works. This is kind of how the system is working for me and how it's starting to develop for me. I'll keep building this out and showing you guys how I make this a little bit more sophisticated in terms of my returns, in terms of my my risks, my potential gains, things like that. But hopefully this was helpful to you. If you do want to download this again, you can go to here. I'll just spell this out to you: cryptocamacho.com. So if you want to download this template, go to cryptocamacho.com and you can download it there for free. Anyway, I'm Dan again from cryptocamacho.com. Leave the comments. Let me know how you like this spreadsheet, if it's helpful for you. If you'd like anything tweaked on it, or give me some ideas. I'd like to tweak some things, make it better, of course. So if there's any tips you can give, let me know. Somebody requested this on YouTube, so here you go. And hopefully this is helpful. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.